Hello everyone, my name is Will Carrera, and today I'm going to be presenting my second video assignment, Gender Schemas in the School to Career Pipeline. Alright, so my main argument, or my stance rather, is that gender schemas are absolutely reinforced in the school to career journey. In fact, they start much earlier. As soon as we're cognitively able to understand, these schemas are introduced into our lives, which I'm going to cover all in my presentation here. All right, so a little bit of background. What is gender-based schematic processing? In a psychological review titled Gender Schema Theory, A Cognitive Account for Sex Typing by Sandra Lippitzbaum of Cornell, she states that a schema is a cognitive structure, a network of associations that organizes and guides an individual's perception. So we can kind of think of a schema guiding how we see the world. You can be taught these schemas through cultural values or societal norms. And living in a binary dominant culture, which we do in the United States, you're either male or you're female. It presents challenges to individuals that are, they don't conform to that specific societal norm. Excuse me. So, as individuals, we're exposed to gender schemas at a very early age, mostly through our parents. Though my mother still worked, she kind of fit the bill for the typical nuclear family. She was in charge of the house, cooking, cleaning. It was kind of the overall nurturing parent in our family. My dad, on the other hand, he worked in lumber, was kind of gone a lot through work, and fit the, typical American dad. He was the clear breadwinner in our family and was responsible for the dirty work at home, whether this be, grilling meat, cleaning up the yard, cleaning up the garage, things of that nature was all kind of his jurisdiction. So obviously our parents have grown up with these schemas, probably even more so than we are now. But what does that all mean for us as kids? In lecture, we learn that we live in a negatively defined culture. So that kind of means that we learn what we are not rather than what we are. And since I spent a lot of time with my mother growing up, I learned not to be feminine and caring and nurturing in that way. And that's just kind of the way society chooses to identify men. So, all right. So now with all that we've learned through our parents, our guardians, or other life experiences in our short time on Earth at this point, it's time to go to school, where again, these schemas are reinforced. So an example that I found particularly interesting was that of curriculum. Think about our lecture when Professor Bell had us think of 10 influential men and 10 influential women in society. We had a really easy time of getting 10 influential men and a really hard time getting 10 influential women. And then this is just because history and a lot of things in school are taught from a male perspective. And I'm not saying, that what these men have done in the past is not important. It is very important. But when you kind of discount all the things that women have done for society and you teach these things to young children from a male perspective, it communicates that men hold the power and are encouraged to take risk and inspire change, whereas women are taught to conform into the societal norms. Excuse me. Dress code is another way that these established gender schemas are reinforced. So they're often much more strict for girls than boys, as the rationale is that boys will be distracted. A school with uniforms amplifies these schemas even more by outlining different clothes that boys and girls must wear, presenting as either masculine or feminine. So if you don't conform to being masculine or feminine, you're kind of out of luck, and it's a very, tumultuous place for you to be. All right, so moving on from school brings us to the workplace. In a lecture titled Believing is Seeing Biology as Ideology, Judith Lorber states that assumptions about men's and women's bodies and their capacities are crafted in ways that make unequal access and distribution of rewards acceptable. So obviously, this has been an issue within the workplace for a very long time and is still very evident. As we learn in class, almost all careers or jobs are gendered, limiting access to many due to being categorized into specific stereotypes. So 4 stereotypes for women include being sex objects, being mothers, children, or the Iron Maiden. The 3 stereotypes for men that we went over are they're either the sturdy oak, fighter, or the breadwinner. To kind of focus in on the sex objects part for women, because that's kind of the easiest and quickest to describe, Our society has been accustomed to judging women by their sexual attractiveness, perceiving women based on their appearance rather than qualifications for a very long time now. Obviously, this should not happen, and it's presented many challenges throughout the years for women in the workplace. On the flip side, if men are not the breadwinners of their household, they may feel unsuccessful. Or, on the flip side of that, employers may sway their decision one way because it's expected that a man is the breadwinner for their household. So, maybe this be an increase in wage, a wage disparity. There's a lot of different ways that these stereotypes are held up in the workplace. All right, to conclude, gender schemas are kind of reinforced daily. I have previously mentioned that this starts at home and is reinforced when we enter the school system and, subsequently the workforce. I believe that we need to challenge these schemas and create an environment where someone can be whoever they truly want to be without societal backlash. And just to close out, I felt that it was noteworthy to speak out on the documentary that we watched called Gender Revolution. This film's very powerful, sharing the stories of many people who've been affected as a result of these societal norms and schemas. And it allowed me to realize that we're all human in a society where everyone has the opportunity to be happy with themselves is truly something that I want to strive for. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. Here's my references here. Have a good one.